Nice. We're calling to order the East Point Community Schools Board of Education meeting. Can you please call the roll?
Dr. Shaniva,
Present.
Mr. Robert Roscoe,
Here.
Mrs. Addie Richardson,
Present.
Ms. Shelley Chapa,
Here.
Darlene Whitby, I'm here. Ian McCain,
Here.
Thank you, 6 present. Can you please, next is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Next, can I please have an approval of the agenda?
Place forth a motion to approve the agenda as in its written form. Support.
With motion and support, can you please call the vote?
Dr. Shaniva Early,
No, that was Ross Brasco.
Robert Roscoe,
Yes.
Ian McCain,
Yes.
Shaniva Early,
Yes.
Addie Richardson,
Yes.
Shelley Chapa,
Yes.
Darlene Whitby, yeah.
With a vote of 6-0, motion's carried. Next, we have the consent agenda. Can I please have a motion for approval?
Place forth a motion to approve the consent agenda in its written form.
Second. With a motion and second, can you please call the vote?
Ian McCain,
Yes.
Shelley Chapa,
Yes.
Dr. Shaniva Early,
Yes.
Ms. Darlene Whitby, yes.
Board President, before we move on, would you like to call your vote?
I didn't get a chance to vote.
Oh, you're not done? I
still calling it
interrupted?
right now.
Yes, you did.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, hold on a minute, Sue, wait a minute.
I got so excited.
Roll the tape. Roll the tape back.
Okay, Robert Roscoe
Yes.
and Addie Richardson.
Yes.
Okay,
Did you call yourself?
I did.
Okay. With a motion of 6-0, motion carried. There you go.
There you go.
I'm just so excited to have such a large crowd tonight. I didn't want to mess anything up, but
Well, you
Dr.
did.
Early's got the gavel. But I'd like to welcome and Dean DeForos introduce our principals that was just approved here this evening. Dean, would you be so kind?
Thank you, Mrs. Gibson. We'd like to formally welcome and introduce our new principal for Bellevue Elementary School, Ms. Milan Harris, who's in the back of the room. Mrs. Harris will be joining us at the beginning of the school year as a new principal, succeeding Mrs. Piper, who will unfortunately be leaving us and returning back to her native Texas. But we are excited to have Ms. Harris take over Bellevue. She spent many years in the Detroit Public Schools as an administrator and a long history in education, a lot of accomplishments, and a great passion for students. And we're very much looking forward to having her join us. We'll give her another round of applause. And also on the agenda, she couldn't be here tonight, was Mrs. Denise Cott. As you probably recall, Mrs. Cott was approved a few months back as our interim principal at Forest Park Elementary School. She also went through the selection process for both the open principalships, and the team was very excited to recommend her, to keep her because her leadership was outstanding and as an interim, and they were very much, very happy to have her continue on as the principal at Forest Park. So she may be watching tonight, so we also want to give her a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Next, we have our superintendent's report.
Greetings, Board of Education, and those of you joining us in the audience. This is your superintendent's report for June 8th, 2026. Hopefully I've got the right one in, but here we've got a video reel. One of my favorite things Caitlin does is do a year in review in a matter of seconds. So let's see if it works with the technology tonight. thank you to Caitlin Keenitz. That'll be a reel running on our Facebook page soon. Construction work is underway. If you've been to Crescentwood Elementary School, you know the staging has already begun to improve our traffic flow and our safe parent drop-off. Tractors have arrived, and the markings are starting to go up. Construction is set to begin as soon as the children are out of school. Wednesday is the last day of school. We anticipate work will begin on Thursday. The restroom that you are looking at on the left is the new restroom at East Point High School's athletic bathrooms. So those restroom facilities were long overdue for an investment, and this is what they're starting to shape up and look like on the inside. So we're very proud of that work. Fall enrollment is open. Schools of choice applications are available. Please visit our website for more information. All of our enrollment is online. Please know, entering kindergarten parents, if your child is an early learning center student, they'll have to stay until the year is wrapped up, and then we'll move them into the live access. We did add extra staffing allocations to K-2 this year to accommodate the increased enrollment and to keep our class sizes as low as possible. So we're excited to have so many positions posted as well. If you are looking for an elementary position, it's not because people are leaving, it's because we increased our allocations across the district. I'll give you a short preview of some upcoming events. June 10th is the last day of school. It is a half day. Summer Discovery will begin on June 22nd. That program will be hosted at Forest Park Elementary School. And I know teachers that are already excited to get going back at summer school on June 22nd. We have a number of presentations today, the first of which I'd like to invite Pam Askew and Dr. Van Doherty up to the podium to tell us a little bit more about the work that's been happening at East Point Middle School. Welcome, Pam Askew, Principal, and Van Doherty, Assistant Principal.
Everyone.
Hello.
We're excited to be here today, and we would like to share with you what our rebranding of East Point Middle School looks like. Student activities and school spirit creates a sense of belonging and community. By uniting students, staff, and families with a shared purpose. So our rebranding mission states that we are together empowering, and I can't see, inspiring and redefining who we are as a middle school. These are some of our activities and celebrations that we have had this school year. We have had over 20 different school activities for students this year. So what you see in front of you was our honors breakfast, and we have partnered with the high school. So this was our first time enjoying the delicious food from the culinary arts department. Mm-hmm. We also had a fun day for students to get that energy moving. So it was Pie Day. So how do you celebrate Pie Day? By throwing a pie in a staff member's face. Wow. And so students had a good time doing that. We also have various clubs at East Point Middle School. The first picture is our puzzle club, and that is ran by one of our social studies teachers and a coach. In the puzzle club, what we're looking at is bridging STEM along with the joy of learning. The first two pictures represent the STEM club, and our last picture is our basketball team.
Yay.
School spirit is something that we treasure at East Point Middle School. So what you see are the various, and we had over 80 different pictures. We couldn't bring all of them tonight, but every month we celebrate school spirit with a theme. So let's get down to why we're here. Our data. ELA growth, that's our English Language Arts Department. The students are demonstrating a steady growth. measurable growth in reading comprehension and vocabulary as our teaching staff applies research-based strategies that are producing results. And this year, if you look at the red bar, you can see that we are moving in the right direction. The highest number that I could select on the graph was 100%, but our actual growth was 129%. In the area of math, we're looking at our data. Our progress reveals a shift in mindset. We are seeing that our students are embracing productive struggle and using their mistakes as a stepping stone to deeper understanding. So again, we're showing steady progress. Attendance has improved, and we are thrilled to report that our daily attendance number are heading exactly where we want them to go. We believe that if you give children a reason to attend school, they will come. This consistent upward trend highlights our growing community engagement and improves that our initiatives are truly resonating with our families. Behavior. Our targeted behavioral interventions are successfully driving down negative student incidents across the school. Through restorative justice and a strong presence by the administrative team, security, and staff is the reason for these results. Our students are learning to talk out their situations instead of acting out. So student engagement, that is something that we strongly advocate that our teachers allow in the classroom. So we cultivate an environment where students are the facilitators of learning. And by leading peer-to-peer instruction, we believe that students retain what they learn more deeply than when the teacher is telling them the answers. The students are being encouraged to have that productive struggle where they figure out what the answers are. My AP?
I think Pam did a real good job in talking about, where we're going as a school, but, the family engagement piece is important. So as we begin to rebrand the school, we're reaching out to community members and inviting them in to make the school a more inviting place. We were in a meeting just a few minutes ago, and we talked about how, when a parent comes in, we want that parent to feel like they're invited. We're gonna treat their kid like they're our own, and really take ownership of that. So our family engagement piece is at the core of rebranding, because and also we're trying to really make a special effort to attract the right type of teacher, because bell-to-bell quality instruction and connecting with those families is key. And that will increase attendance. If a kid is engaged, that kid is less likely to behave. And if we're building those quality relationships with kids and we're proactively engaging kids, we have a good relationship with the restorative justice coordinator, myself, and the security folk. So we proactively approach kids every day, meet them at the door, talk to them before they come in. And they tell us what's going on prior to. All of us will pick up that phone and talk to that parent and say, hey, look, not only just, hey, Johnny's not doing well, but hey, let's celebrate Johnny's successes. So everything is not negative. And under the direct supervision of Pam, she is a turnaround director, a seasoned veteran who is, putting the school in the proper context, in the right direction to move student achievement.
We are also very proud of our connection with the elementary. This year, we took a group of students who volunteered to go to read to the elementary students during March's Reading Month. We also had a group of students who attended we call it the high school connection, and we took our seventh graders over to the high school so that they could spend a day in the high school, because we want to keep our students. We want to show them and showcase the wonderful things that are happening in our schools. We also will be partnering with the high school with their CTE program. So that is something that we're very excited about. So our areas of focus for this year, we want to continue to improve the culture and climate, and we are seeing evidence of that. We want school-wide literacy programs, not just in English language arts, but across every core academic subject that is taught in our school. We also want a strong emphasis on improving math foundational skills. The curriculum that we're currently using already addresses those deficits that students have. And through our math teacher, and we're in the process of finding another certified math teacher, we are seeing results. Also, we want to continue our out-of-school experience, which you will see in the next slides. And this has put a smile on everyone's face in our building, because for the first time, students are eager to be part of these experiences. So, of course, we promoted togetherness. This was a field trip where students were able to spend time in nature. Our students don't appreciate the trees and the things that you just see just as you walk down, a city street. So we wanted them to embrace nature, because these are the people who are going to be responsible for what happens to this earth. So we want them to understand the importance of appreciating nature. The animals. We had the exotic zoo at our school, and students had an up-close and personal experience with zoo animals that they probably wouldn't be able to see and touch if they, on a regular basis. So this was something that they enjoyed. We also promote leadership. So that's one of our star readers, where we took a group of young people to Crescentwood Elementary, and they read stories to the elementary students. And then the other picture is where we are introducing students to CTE programs, where they had the opportunity to go to a contractor, and they show kids, opportunities in that area. This is another, we looked at navigation skills through our science department. The person in the red jacket is one of our teachers, a dynamic science teacher, who was teaching students the importance of how to navigate, whether that's on the water or land. And we are most proud that we took our students to our state capitol. And they received a glowing response from the House of Representatives on their visit. And the students, for many of them, this was their first time traveling to Lansing in a chartered bus. And that in itself was an experience for our students. So we were very proud of our young people, because they represented us well. And that's who we are at East Point Middle School.
Thank
Very
you so
good.
much, Pam. Next up, I'd like to invite Curriculum and Instruction for their end-of-the-year update. Please and thank you, Lisa Petrella, Director of Curriculum and Instruction.
Good evening. Boy, that was a hard act to follow, and a place that belongs close in my heart, because I spent so many years of my career in East Point in middle school. So nice job, and I can't wait to see where you go next, middle school team. Good evening, everybody. Superintendent Gibson, the members of the board, and our audiences, both here and at home. I'm here tonight to provide a very brief end-of-the-year summary of our benchmark assessment data and to highlight some points of pride from the curriculum department this year. As you know, our team focuses on goals 1 and 2 of our district strategic plan. Goal 1 surrounds the guaranteed and viable curriculum piece, and Goal 2 deals with the multi-tiered systems of support for our students. 3.5 years ago, we went to work adopting new high-quality resources for our students and staff. The slide that you're viewing, although the colors don't really differentiate from my eyes, but the one on the top right is green. That is the one I would like to highlight. That is the science, new science and Spanish that I was here talking with you just about a year ago. And that is our newest implementation on our timeline. We prioritize the high-stakes areas of math and ELA, K-12, but over the course of the last 3 years, we've also added in new resources for art, special education, science, and Spanish, as I just mentioned. Resources alone don't paint the full picture, though, and I think we just learned that from the East Point Middle School presentation. We also provide support for staff through a robust professional development plan, and each year, a calendar is created that reflects all of our professional learning opportunities, and it must be aligned to our strategic plan goals in order to both be approved and funded. This is not an exhaustive list, but you can see here some of the worthwhile professional development that staff participated in this year. One of our big rocks through our UVA PLE partnership is to build teacher capacity in delivering high-quality instruction, and you'll see that several of these experiences help us meet those goals. Whether it's onboarding new teachers or coaching around the new curricular resources or providing training on social emotional learning, all of those things align to our strategic plan. And speaking of UVA, we also invest in our leaders, professional development too, with ongoing training and support throughout the year. You'll see that reflected there as well. The K-5 district-approved resources are listed here for your reference. No changes, although we are pleased to have made a successful K-5 transition this year. We have no materials to move this summer, and everything will be ready and waiting for staff and students in the fall. So that alone is a big hurrah. At the secondary level, we added the experience science that I just mentioned, and we will expand the hands-on fun next year to engage students in the wonders of science. One other point of pride to look for on this list is the CTE expansion. I know Mr. Yarch has been here before to discuss this, but I just wanted to lift that again. We're so excited that we will be sending, I believe it's 6 students to Macomb Community College in the fall for welding and mechatronics. So students, if you're listening, please make sure you check your Macomb emails over the summer. You start a little bit earlier than the rest of us, and classes start August 17th for you. We are all pulling for you. One big change we made this school year was with our benchmark assessment. This year, grades K through 8 took the iReady diagnostic for both math and ELA, and 9th through 12th grade continued with the NWEA MAP growth for our benchmark assessment. It was a positive change that resulted in less spring testing for our K-8 students because they no longer had to take both assessments. And as in years past, these MDE-approved benchmark assessments were given 3 times a year, so we gave it in the fall, and in the winter, and in the spring. iReady reading. So this is our second year of the K-5 implementation. Fall to spring, we are seeing growth. The chart shows the percentage of students who are at or above grade level, and we are seeing the positive growth at every grade level. As you can see by that last column, they're all green. The percentage of students meeting typical growth targets has increased from 40.25% last spring to 43.25% this spring. So we are trending, albeit a little slower than we all would want, we are trending in the right direction. In addition, 20% of our students on average are meeting their stretch growth goals. And this is important because this is the catch-up growth that students need to reach grade level. So let's switch to math. Thanks. Again, we're seeing growth here. The 8th grade was the one outlier, but they did have a really nice increase in winter, and then they dipped back down in the spring, unfortunately for them. The 36.3% of our students are meeting typical growth targets, but I want you to keep in mind that the national norm for this, it would be a 50%. So we're still falling short there, but inching closer. Again, for math, about 20% of our students, their hard work is paying off and they are achieving that stretch growth. All right, for the next slide, we're gonna switch to the high school. For math, you'll remember that we want to see the blue bar meet or exceed the diamond. The blue bar is the observed growth, and the diamond is the projected growth goal for that grade level. So we are seeing an increase fall to spring in all grades. Shout out to our upperclassmen for exceeding their targets there. In reading, we're seeing the similar pattern. Let's skip to the next slide, please. Okay. We see a similar pattern. We're seeing growth, and the gap between the observed growth and projection is closing from fall to spring. Just imagine what that looks like while we're waiting. We realize that we still have so much work to do, and shiny new resources and the PD plan alone are not going to get us there. So this is where this second goal area, our multi-tiered systems of support, help us with those efforts. For students below grade level, we offered the following academic interventions this year, and we're looking to expand those opportunities next year. We know that extended day and extended year, like our summer programming, help us close the gaps for students. And we also know, and I know we've talked about this on other visits that I've made to you, that kids need to be in school. So I'm pleased to share some really exciting data this year. So our chronic absence has decreased across the district. And our average daily attendance has improved 10% from last year. So we are getting more kids into the classroom. That's half the battle, right? For parents at home, we need to keep this trending up. All of our added sports and fun events and family activities that the middle school has mentioned and all the other buildings have mentioned all along throughout this year, those things are helping. We really need our parents to partner with us and get kids to school more frequently. Another data point I'd like to share is our student discipline trends. Our out-of-school suspension has decreased 47% over the last 2 years. Again, we are keeping kids in classes. I heard a little clap. That's okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. We would like to connect this to the increased use of restorative practices, PBIS rewards, behavior plans, and all the in-school supports that we offer. As I wrap up here tonight, I'd like to share that the curriculum department's commitments to the East Point, share the commitments to the East Point community. You'll see them listed there. We aren't satisfied with where we are, and we know that intentional planning and deliberate practice are what will get us moving forward faster. So next year, you can count on us to do all of those items there. We're going to continue that system-wide campaign for improving attendance, monitoring curriculum implementation with fidelity, improving our instructional coaches model to rapidly increase student achievement and fine-tune implementation. We're going to continue high-quality professional development for our administrators, coaches, teachers, and support staff. We're going to continue our high-quality Tier 1 instruction and use data to help us drive those Tier 2 and 3 interventions. We're going to monitor the progress towards our 90-day plans that our principals create each semester. And of course, continuing the hard work that we do in our PLCs every week, our school improvement team meetings, and the performance management meetings that we hold with principals each quarter. Our goal is to continue increasing those opportunities for students in all areas and all levels of the organization, and hiring more certified teachers to reduce those class sizes, and I think Superintendent Gibson mentioned that earlier in her report. So together, we can achieve so much more. I thank you so much for your time this evening. And I know we have a lot more on the agenda, so thank you so much.
So next, I'd like to turn it over to Dean Neforos, Executive Director of Human Resources, who will lead us through celebrating our retirees. A really interesting fact is that between all 6 of our retirees, they have a combined service of 154 years to East Point Community Schools. Dean Neforos.
Thank you, Mrs. Gibson. Again, we would like to congratulate all of our retirees who are joining us today. We have 6 retirees from the school districts this year. Mrs. Gibson is correct, 154 years of total service, which is amazing, among only 6 people, so think about that. 2 of our retirees could not be here today. I wanted to acknowledge them first. And then I will also then acknowledge the other 4 who are here today and invite one of their administrators up and some others who may want to offer some brief words about them, and then be able to award them the traditional bell for each of them as a gift from the district, and then to ring the bell into their retirement years. First, and again, let's give her a round of applause as well. Next in order of years of service, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Jerry Kaminsky. Mr. Kaminsky, if you can please come forward. And sir. Mr. Kaminsky has 23 years of service as he retires with the district. And I'd like to invite up Mrs. Pam Askew, our middle school principal, to talk about Mr. Kaminsky.
Jerry, as you step into retirement, I want to express my sincere gratitude for your years of dedication and wisdom. Working alongside of you for these past 5 years has truly been a significant part of my time here at East Point. Thank you for the endless laughs, the popcorn Fridays, and our chats when I say, Jerry, what is going on with the Tigers? You have been more than just a skilled media para. You have been a steady resource for the entire staff. Your standards of excellence for the operation of the Middle School Media Center will guide the next generation of media paras for years to come. On behalf of the East Point Community District and East Point Middle School, I am wishing you joy and relaxation, and you so richly deserve it.
Thank you, Pam.
Just real quick, I mean, I grew up in this community. I've lived in East Detroit all my life, East Point. Went to school at Forest Park, went to school at Kelly Junior High School, not middle school. We had 7, 8, and 9 back then. East Detroit High School, class of 78. After college, worked for the cable TV company forever. This is actually the first school board meeting I've had in this building, but used to tape the meetings when they were in the old admin building, probably saw hundreds of school board meetings. So then, of course, I worked at Kelly, Oakwood, and the high school at various times, mostly at Kelly, at the middle school. So my dad was on the school board for 20-some years. My mom was head cook at the high school for almost 20 years. The Kaminsky family is a big part of East Detroit schools, East Point schools. They're a big part of the Kaminsky family. And I couldn't think of a better person to go out with a retirement with than Lincoln. He and I coached football together at the middle school. He's a bit younger than me, so Lincoln, I know you do, so. And he lets me remember, but Lincoln also, I think on behalf of all paras, I want to say thank you as union president for always looking out for the paras in your negotiations. Thank you very much. Good luck. Thank you, guys.
Next, I'd like to acknowledge Ms. Agnes Jones. Agnes is our head cook at Bellevue Elementary School and has been with the district 29 years. And Agnes was also the president of our Local 120 ASME union as well, too, and guided that union for many years as well. And I'm inviting up Amy Cirillo, the Director of Food Services, to speak about Agnes.
Good evening. It has been a pleasure of knowing Agnes for the last couple of years. She had worked with the district for about 29 years. She had worked all over the district in many kitchens. One thing she did tell me that she loved was being in charge of selling the snacks. She loved selling the snacks at the high school at one point. Agnes was a great, strong leader in the kitchen. She had a strong work ethic and kept a well-organized kitchen, which turned into a great work environment. She cared for the students, and it showed, whether it was with her cooking or at her interactions with the students. With her cooking or the interactions with the students, she'll be missed by many people throughout the district. The last few years, she's been at Bellevue for at least about 9 to 10 years. 9 years, which is, I know she'll be greatly missed by the Bellevue family. Congratulations, Agnes, on a well-deserved retirement. Yeah, congratulations.
I'm not speaking, sorry.
Next, I'd like to welcome and acknowledge Ms. Eliza Menino. Ms. Menino has been a paraprofessional for the district for 30 years. Also at Bellevue. And I'd like to bring up her principal, Julie Piper, but first her daughter, Nicolina.
Hopefully I don't cry. Hello, everyone. I'm the daughter of a special person in this room behind me, a dedicated mother, wife, friend, employee, and nana. It's a bittersweet moment to be witnessing my mother retire after all these years in the district. For those of you who don't know, my mom, behind me, began working for the district when my brother and I started at Pleasant View Elementary School in 1996. Then, when I transitioned to Kelly Middle School, my mom did as well. Having my mom working at the school I attended was comforting and rewarding, mainly because of the extra cartons of chocolate milk. When a classmate hurt my feelings, my mom knew about it. When I earned an award in sports or academics, my mom knew about it. And when I cheated on a test, my mom immediately knew about it. Sorry, Mom. But along the way, my mom became an integral part of the school district. It doesn't matter which school, Pleasant View, Kelly, or Bellevue, she made her presence known. She monitored halls, chaperoned field trips, helped struggling students, volunteered at after-school events, attended sports games, organized special events, participated in spirit weeks, supported her friends and coworkers, you name it, she did it. All for the school, her coworkers, and most importantly, the children. I've heard many stories from her over the years, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but each year she returned stronger, confident, and more experienced than the previous one. Although this chapter of her life is coming to a close, another one is just beginning. This new chapter still involves helping children, 2 infants to be exact. And it's something I know she's been looking forward to for a few years now, and that is spending time with her twin grandbabies. Well, now is your time to shine, Nana. Jean and JJ are ready for you. Happy retirement.
Well, I told Nicolina not to make me cry before I came up here, so this was already going to be hard enough. So tonight, wait, one word in. It is truly an honor to be able to say a few words on behalf of Lisa Menino. She has served the East Detroit Public Schools, East Point Community Schools, since 1996. Lisa raised her family in East Point. She continues to be a part of this community. And she's chosen to dedicate herself to making a positive impact by working in schools with children and families of East Point. She's a remarkable educator who is a constant cheerleader for her students. Watching her get excited as the students show growth is contagious. Every year after mid and end year assessments, she comes to me all excited about how much growth her students have made. Lisa's a firm believer in building relationships, and she is great at reading students' moods. A few years ago, Lisa was assigned to work at the front door duty station as kids came in. Middle of the year, we made some transitions. Lisa came back to me and said, I want to be the first person to greet them in the morning. I said, absolutely, of course. She makes sure that every student knows that they are valued, supported, and seen. Through the ups and the downs, she's remained committed. She brings patience, compassion, and professionalism, positivity to the building on a daily basis for both.
Educator and also as the longtime president of the EFE. I personally have enjoyed working with Lincoln for the short time I've been here, negotiating with him and working with him in his role, always supporting his staff and his teachers and the paraprofessionals, and always with the best interest of the district in mind at all times. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Todd Yarch to talk about Mr. Sox.
Thank you. It is an honor to say a few words about Lincoln Stock, someone that has meant so much to East Point Community Schools and East Point High School and the grandchildren that we hear about all of the time. 40 years is incredible. For 4 decades, Lincoln has dedicated his career to serving the students and families of this community. What's even more special is that this isn't just where he worked, it's where he grew up. What was it, 1968? Okay, I was going to say 3. Sorry, good thing I checked.
Jerry was here before that.
He's been a part of this school district since 1968. Lincoln is a proud graduate who came back to give back to the very place that helped shape him. I still remember here the first board meeting that I was approved as principal, and Lincoln and I met right outside, and he just said, call me, we'll talk. I want to make sure that you are supported and that you're successful. And I could tell from that time he was the real deal, just from that conversation. As I was trying to figure things out, Lincoln would come in and we'd have some discussions, and sometimes we didn't always agree, but the thing that I had always appreciated was that never ended in a argument or anything. He comes up his name comes up in conversations about East Point High School because he has been here through so many important moments and has always cared deeply about this district and the people in it. His influence can be seen in the students he taught, the athletes he coached, the colleagues he supported, and the countless people he helped along the way. Few people leave that kind of mark on a school community. On behalf of East Point High School, thank you, Lincoln, for your dedication, your leadership, and your service. Thank you for being a proud Shamrock and for leaving a legacy that will continue long after your retirement. Congratulations on the incredible career. Your impact on East Point High School and this community will not be forgotten. And thank you, and I know we will still see you in the fall.
Well, as you guys here on the board know, I can't move away from a microphone without at least saying 1 or 2 things. I brought with me my motivation for retirement. My grandchildren, Charlotte and Leo. I do want to take an opportunity to thank the Board of Education for the opportunity to be a part of this community, provide for my family, provide the benefits that saved our lives several times, and the friendships and camaraderie we've had. Jerry, for years and years. I mean, I think you covered me when I was playing football here, didn't you? Yeah, with the stuff, and we went so many things, so many people.
All right, thank you again, and let's a big round of applause to our team.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'm Don Wotruba, the Executive Director with Michigan Association of School Boards. And for those in the audience that aren't familiar, we are a nonprofit in Lansing that focuses on school board training and advocacy on behalf of public schools in Michigan. We as an organization have been around for 76 years, but why we're here tonight in recognizing Dr. Early is we created an awards program and what I would say, even though it's not a profession, I'll say a professional development program, school board member and serving on committees and doing things within their community that they want to take the time to better themselves, to serve their school districts, and join us in Lansing and other places that we offer training and step out. And I will say, the East Point Community Schools Board as a whole historically has done that, and I thank the administration for encouraging that and the board for the culture that's been created here for taking that on and trying to be the best board that you can be for your community. So we have 7 levels of certification within MASB, and what that means is we have classes. They are 3 hours long each, typically in person, although like many have had to do in the education world, we now offer online classes. But we do them in person largely, and we have different levels. And to receive our level 1 or level 7, Dr. Early actually had to take 38 3-hour classes running from school board policy, communications, labor relations, data, you name it, there we have a class for it, to try to be a good leader within the school district. And along with all of those classes, we understand just really is one of those, she should be very proud of that. I do want to say, because I know her husband and her son are here, I also want to thank family, because truly all of you as board members recognize this. Families are sharing board members with their districts.
Yes.
Families are sharing their board members with us at MASB and others, and I know that school board members don't get thanked enough for the work they do, and clearly the families don't get thanked enough for sharing their people with us. And so with that, I say thank you to the family. And I would like Dr. Early to come down here so I can present both a plaque. Dr. Geneva Early, East Point Community School District, awarded on December 11th, 2025. And we also have a crystal paperweight, also with the MASB President's Award with your name and year. Congratulations.
I get to talk up here? Oh, wow.
Can you reach it?
Play nice.
Thank you so much. I just want to say, I appreciate this. It was hard work, but I did not do this by myself. I had 7 people to drag along, myself, the super, do what y'all taught us to do. Do what y'all taught us to do.
Amen.
Thank you.
So we will take about a 10-minute recess. We'll take a 10-minute recess, and you can share your congratulations. We'll re-adjourn the meeting at 7:35.
All right. Yep, go down there with the fan.
So we can,
Initial sale, we're not asking this Board of Education to take any action at this time. That might be the next board meeting. But knowing that like the sale of property is like a big thing, because we know property is limited. You only have it once, unless you go back and buy it again, which doesn't make sense. So I wanted to at least walk you through it once before we asked you to take any action. So next slide, please, Superintendent. So the first thing to think about is, what is the Warrendale site? Because I'll be honest with you, as a relatively new person to East Point, I didn't know what the Warrendale site was, okay? So I know the board members all know, I'm sure they know this, but I want to explain to the community what the Warrendale site is. The Warrendale site is in the southwest corner of the East Point Community Schools, and a portion of our school district is located in the city of Warren, okay? It's about 9.4 acres. So it's interesting, it's in the southwest corner of East Point Schools and the southeast corner of the city of Warren, okay? It's about 9.4 acres, located in primarily a residential area, okay? I have a map in just a second because it's kind of helpful to kind of see it visually. The Warrendale Elementary was closed in 2007 and demolished shortly thereafter. And it's really been an empty field since that time. It's adjacent to a city park that the city of Warren has put some dollars into recently to kind of make it a nicer park. But we have been maintaining it by mowing it, of course, because it's still our property and it's on our liability insurance rolls. But it has been sitting there basically empty for almost the past 20 years. Next slide, please. So this is a Google map of where it is, okay? So the bottom there is 8 Mile. That diagonal there is Gratiot, okay? And so it's that green space where I put that red like marker there, all right? The main road to the left there is Shaner, right there on the left-hand side. That's the main road going up and down there. And then Topher is 1 block north of the property, okay? That kind of gives you some idea of exactly where it's located. Next slide, please. So what's the opportunity here? It's kind of, in my opinion, a very exciting opportunity. What we're looking to do is sell it to an entity that would redevelop the current site into multifamily affordable housing, okay? So not individual homes, but multifamily, whether that's townhomes or some other construction like that. That's kind of somewhat TBD, all right? But multifamily housing on that site. And the way this would work, okay, because the reality is the cost to build anything there is higher than what you can actually sell it for. And builders are not in the business of donating things away. That's not how it works. So they're going to use housing credits from the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, or MSHDA, that would allow to kind of fill that gap between what they can kind of sell/rent it for versus the cost of build, if that makes sense. Is this complicated? It's more complicated than selling your own home or something like that, because you're going to have lots of entities involved in it at the same time. So next slide, please. So who are those 4 entities? One is this school district. What would our role be? We would ask the Board of Education in the future, possibly the next meeting, to approve a purchase agreement to allow the district to sell that piece of property to the Community Housing Network. CJ Felton is with that organization. Their specialty is creating affordable housing opportunities in this kind of area of Michigan. Their office is in Troy. They've done lots of work in Warren. They've also done work in East Point. If you remember the old Deerfield site, they did the Deerfield site almost 10 years ago, okay? They are partnering with Spear Partners. That is another organization that is focused on providing capital to create opportunities like this. They're based in California, okay? So it'd be 1 part us, 1 part the Community Housing Network, 1 part Spear. It'd be kind of jointly redeveloped by Spear and the Community Housing Network. But because this requires a lot of partnership, we would also have a partnership with the city of Warren, okay? The city of Warren would need to sign off legally from a zoning perspective. And we would also need their support, and by the way, we already have their support, to get those MSHDA credits. Because there's no way the state of Michigan is releasing those credits unless the district, the city of Warren, and all the entities say this is what's best for this piece of property, okay? Next slide, please. So what has the district done? Because as you know, your responsibility, like you care about the community, but your responsibility is to the school district. And this is an asset, and I want to make sure that you know what we as a school district have done. First, while the superintendent and I have been talking about this almost every day, neither of us is a real estate expert. So we have partnered with a real estate expert who has a specialty in helping school districts sell potentially excess property. Transparently, I've worked with them previously in other districts, but they've done work with over 30 districts. His name is Bill Bowman in the Tri-County area in the last 20 years. We've also had our attorney from Clark Hill, that's our regular law firm, has been reviewing this situation with us and is actually drawing up the purchase agreement. She actually has a draft of it already together, all right? We've had, CJ and I just met, I think 7 weeks ago, but we've had at least 7 meetings. We're meeting at least once a week. We've been meeting first as a partnership to talk about this. The superintendent's been at a couple of those meetings. We have met with the developmental kind of the developmental arm of the city of Warren to make sure they're on board. We've also met with an individual who sits on the Warren City Council to kind of make sure the city council is kind of in alignment with this. I'm really excited that the city of Warren, both the administration and the elected officials, are very excited about this opportunity. CJ and his group and the Spear Group have been doing other infill type housing inside of Warren, so they're not new to this. They've been doing infill housing, which is like small individual little lots and doing things with that. This is the kind of first big partnership, but they're very familiar with CJ's group and with Spear, and the city of Warren's very excited, okay? So those are the things that we've been going down the path with. We also we presented them a purchase agreement. If you go to the next slide, I'll kind of outline what that would look like. So the purchase agreement basically in writing says, this is what it would take to sell the property, okay? So it will have things like an actual price. We're still in the kind of negotiation phase of that. It will have earnest money, so they will put down a small amount of money, okay, which will sit in escrow, just like escrow if you were gonna buy a house, okay? And it kind of sits there. It's kind of their promise to stay serious, all right? But unlike some purchase agreements, we won't receive, we meaning the district, not me personally, the district will not receive the final funds, and the property won't actually change hands until we get the MSHDA credits, okay? That process could take a fair amount of time. Deerfield, how many times did you have to go back for MSHDA credits?
Five times we applied for that.
And they only review the credits twice a year. So 5 times means 2.5 years, okay? So it's exciting, but temper the excitement, okay? And they can't apply for that without that purchase agreement in place. So from your perspective as the owners, you will know next time when I come to you, and Superintendent Gibson will share it in the packet, what that purchase price is going to be. But we won't receive that money until it actually changes hands, and that is going to be a time that's probably measured minimally in many months and most likely at least a year, okay? That's kind of how that would cascade out. And if the MSHDA credits don't go through, they get their earnest money back and we don't receive any funds. So just transparently, because it all has to happen together, if that makes sense. Next slide, please. I kind of think I already did a piece of this. Our plan is to have that sale for purchase the next board meeting or the latest in July. Okay, by that time, CJ's legal team will have reviewed it as well. It was provided to him last week, okay? And then they would go through the process of starting to obtain these credits. The next credit review for MSHDA is October. Most likely, we're probably a little late for that at this point, so probably the first one is gonna be next April, I believe, is the next time they're gonna be able to go out for credits on this. And like you said, last time it took five rounds as they go through this process. At the same time, administration's very excited because this property, while maintained, has been sitting there, not as really being used by the district or the community. The opportunity for multifamily, affordable housing there is a win for the community. Transparently, it's a win for the school district because some of those students could potentially attend our school district. And it frankly just makes that corner of our district an even better place to live. So that's the reason that administration really feels strongly about this. That's my last slide. I'm happy to answer any non-technical questions. Any technical questions, I'm going to turn to CJ on. Okay? Any questions from board members?
Go ahead, Ian.
Oh, you got it, yeah, okay. I'll go after you. Sure. No, if you have questions, go ahead. By all means, you go.
Okay. Just a couple things. Thanks for the presentation, and I think these are mostly for
Person's game. We loved working with y'all in Deerfield. I don't know if people know what Aaron Park is, but that's what Deerfield became. 52 duplex units. We really enjoyed working with you, and you were very patient with us in that process, and then likely will require the same thing here.
Awesome. And then I'm glad you mentioned workforce housing. Can you kind of explain to us, like, the difference between what we think of as like traditional affordable or low income versus what
Sure.
workforce housing is?
Yeah, it depends upon the whichever individual community you're talking about. But typically, workforce housing is kind of viewed as 80 to 120% of the area median income, which in Macomb County is probably, Ian, you'll know this better than I will, but probably an 80% family is in the mid-70s, about 75,000 a year range. Up to 120 is probably mid to upper 90s. This particular program is 80% and below. But I can tell you in East Point, you have a lot, and South Warren would be the same thing too. You have a lot of 60% area median income households that need housing badly. Their options are really limited. So it's different in every single community, but that would end up becoming workforce housing for a lot of this area.
Absolutely, yeah. I like workforce housing because part of it is the district employees, right? Like it can be teachers, but then it could also be police officers, like a lot of your public service.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of public service help, exactly.
And I think the last thing gets at the importance of CHN in this project. And can you explain the kind of like the role of, I think the acronym is CHODO, but I know there's only so many of them. I think there's only 2 actually, the last time we talked in Macomb County, just so folks kind of understand.
Macomb County recognized ourselves.
Affordable housing, right?
Yes.
And HUD would be one of the partners, or would the property or the management be under the auspices of HUD?
HUD would have no involvement at all in this. Basically what happens is, without getting too far into the weeds, because I could get into the weeds very quickly, and we apply for tax credits. If we're successful, the state will award us credits to build the development. We then take those to the open market and sell them to what we call an equity investor. And it's some cents on the dollar. They never give you dollar for dollar, but 85 to 90 cents on the dollar. That raises the money to build the development. And then we're in partnership with that group for 10 years. Whoever buys the credits, we build it, we manage it. And so it's not, a lot of people want to call it subsidized housing. It's not. There's no government stake in the development.
Good. Good.
Now, would this type of property be eligible for the individual moving in to use the personal state credits through like a HUD program or Section 8 or something like that?
Yes, we accept housing choice vouchers, tenant-based housing choice vouchers. So if they have those issued from one of the housing commissions, we accept those. Don't envision having any other vouchers in this particular development we're looking at. That might change, but yes, we do accept those.
Perfect.
I have one more question. Would that be set aside?
Excuse me?
Vouchers, would that be set aside? So many,
No
or just?
vouchers will be set aside, but we do guarantee in our application that we will accept them. Truthfully, we love vouchers because the rent gets paid.
Exactly.
All right. We good? Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have recommendation for approval for the bid of transportation service. Dr. Dean.
Thank you very much. You get another dose.
Yes.
I'm here today to share with you a recommendation from administration to approve a new contractor for our transportation. So I want to walk you through a brief slide presentation, then I'll be happy to answer any questions. First slide, please. Our first slide just gives everyone in the community, and the board knows, but the people at home, an idea of which of our students participate in our transportation program. So this will be all of our students in grades K through 8 that live outside the walk zones. You know, we have walk zones for each of the schools. If you live inside of those, you walk to school, but outside of those walk zones, you're eligible for transportation. Of course, our students that are in K-12 special education, as determined by their IEPs, some IEPs determine that a student needs specialized transportation. Our ECSE students, those are our littlest students with special needs, youngest, meaning youngest kids at the Early Learning Center, they are transported. And then we have various different transportation runs. We have athletic transportation runs and field trip transportation runs and all those sorts of pieces, okay? Currently, as a school district, all of our buses are owned by a third-party provider. The school district does not own any buses currently, okay? But the third-party provider does operate out of our bus garage on 10 Mile Road. So I want to give that context, kind of gives you some grounding of what our transportation looks like. Next slide, please. This gives us a financial understanding of our transportation. And these are for this year, so for 25-26, we're spending about $1.3 million on transportation as a school district. About $420,000 for general education transportation, about $690,000 for special education transportation, and then special education aids. When we say transportation, by the way, that includes everything like driver's salaries, the bus, insurance, all operating, the supervisor, et cetera. Okay, those are all what is inside of that transportation space. And then the right-hand side, just showing you where do we get the money for transportation. We get some money from special education reimbursement, okay? We get reimbursed 70% of our special education costs. So if you actually take that $685,000 number, multiply it by 70%, that's how you get the $437,000. We then get every year, sometimes, the state gives us extra money for transportation. This year they gave us $62,000 and change. And then the remainder comes from the general fund, okay? So that general per pupil amount. So we're about $1.3 million for transportation this year. Next slide, please. Our current contract expires on June 30th. Part of management's responsibility to the Board of Education and to our community is to take contracts out for bid to make sure that we're getting both the best price and the best service possible. So we do those things on a regular cadence, and the time to do that is when they're going to expire. So this past spring, administration partnered with legal counsel because other than food service, student transportation is the most regulated thing that happens inside of a school district. And as much as I can help with that, we definitely needed legal counsel to make sure that everything was buttoned up exactly the way it needed to be. We created a request for quote document that was provided to all the school transportation companies in the Tri-County area that provide buses. Because sometimes when you see like a bus, even as being driven by a third-party provider, it's owned by the school district. We don't own our buses, so we had to provide it to the companies that both have drivers and provide buses. We received 3 bids. We interviewed each of the 3 bidders and reviewed their proposal. This was one of those proposals where, frankly, all 3 proposals were almost exactly to the nickel the same dollar price. So this didn't become about dollars and cents. This became about levels of service. Next slide, please. So administration is recommending First Student, one of those 3 bidders, be our new transportation provider. First Student is a national company serving over 4.6 million students daily across the entire United States of America. They have a large local presence in Metro Detroit. I want you to kind of keep that in the back of your mind because I'm going to talk about that again in another slide or two. They service a fair number of school districts in the area here. They have a strong record of student safety because, of course, student safety is the most important thing when it comes to student transportation. And they also have a strong footprint around technology that we really felt was a differentiator as we went through this bid review process. Next slide, please. So with First Student, all of our buses will have cameras that monitor the students, the drivers, and the area surrounding the bus. Okay, we think that's an important safety piece. By the way, I'm not saying we don't have some of these things now. I'm not saying all this is new. I'm saying these are important things to us, some of which we already have, but we felt that's very important. This is new, and I think from my perspective, as the guy who gets a lot of phone calls about transportation, I know Wendy gets a lot of phone calls, and Superintendent Gibson gets a lot of phone calls. They will now have an app that parents will put on their phone. And if I live at a certain spot and my kid's at the bus stop, I will be able to see where the bus is relative to before it gets to the stop And then once it leaves the stop and it goes to the school. In other words, I don't have to call the bus garage to say, where is my bus? I can pull it up on my phone and I can see. Likewise, the building secretary and the building principals on their computer can pull up all the buses that serve their schools and know where are they relative to, are they close to my school? We actually worry a little bit more about, did they get all the run done at the end of the day? Do you know what I'm saying? Like timing wise, how did that go? So we'll be able to monitor all those things from a technology perspective, which we think is a significant service add for our community, our moms and our dads and families, and our staff, frankly. Also, and that's why the cost, like I said, all the costs are gonna be the same, but the costs are going up because we really need to increase our driver pay. Okay, so driver-based pay is going to go up through this process, and then will go up each of the 5 years of the contract, as well as aid pay will go up. That is frankly a function of market. There are so many school districts here, and currently our rate of pay is not as competitive as with some of our other peers. It just has to go up. It is gonna cost more, but it's really something that we have to do at this time. Because we're increasing the rate of pay, we will have a larger pool of drivers. We will be able to we will have to consolidate fewer runs, cancel fewer runs, and we have a guarantee in writing that we will have enough drivers next year to run GSRP transportation, which will be great for our youngest kids. Yeah. Next slide, please. And this next piece, we're gonna have to kind of see how it goes, because I'm not 100% sure, I haven't run all the numbers. But as you know, we have a variety of small pieces of transportation that need to happen. You heard earlier today when they talked about CTE, how we're sending some students for welding. We have to figure out how we're gonna transport those students. They do have kind of like a first, I'm gonna call it first student Uber, where like we could set up small scale, like a vehicle run by first student, drivers have passed the safety test, background check. Please don't think it's just a random Uber person picking people up. Okay. But effectively, we can order one every day at the high school to take a kid to insert a place where we need to, or back if necessary. Okay, we think there's some real value adds inside of that space as we look to provide more CTE and more dual enrollment opportunities. It still might work out that we want to do that with our own transit van or vans in the future, so there's no promise, guarantee, but I do think it's a nice opportunity that is in our back pocket now. Also, and this was one of the things that was the most compelling for us, is First Student currently provides transportation services for Van Dyke Public Schools. We are neighbors with Van Dyke. They are a small Macomb County district immediately to our west. We are going to, under this plan, share a supervisor. We only have 13 bus runs. A typical bus load of bus runs for a supervisor is 25 or 30 for each supervisor. So we're gonna share a supervisor with Van Dyke. We're also gonna share a head mechanic with Van Dyke. We will still have a technician on staff at all times here, like the head mechanic will float between the two places. We'll still have our bus garage, they'll have their bus garage. Our buses will say East Point Community Schools, please don't worry, okay? But we will share some of those staff. That has two advantages. One, there's a cost savings for the school district. Also, when we think about how to maintain our competitiveness long-term, we're gonna have to have conversations about how can we partner with our neighbors. And so this is a nice first partnership with a neighbor. And I know that Superintendent Gibson has had conversations with Van Dyke. They're in the process, they've identified a new superintendent. So we're really excited about this process and this opportunity to share some resources. Another resource we can share, just like we should have sub-teachers, there are sub-bus drivers. We can share sub-bus drivers with Van Dyke. That'll allow us to move people back and forth easier and have less of a driver shortage, okay? First Student will also, we're gonna go through and spend a lot of this summer rerouting the district. That doesn't mean changing who's eligible for transportation or not, but it does mean thinking about, now we've had an entire year of K-5 at 4 buildings. Are there some different ways to route the school district that would be more efficient? Maybe have kids be on the bus for less of a time, all those sorts of things. So we'll be doing that work this summer. Next slide, please. So specific to the contract, I gave you via email, I sent that to Superintendent Gibson last week, Thursday. I appreciate her patience, we didn't get it done until Thursday at 4:30, the actual pricing sheet. But for the community, we're looking at a 5-year agreement. Like all of our agreements, if something goes south, which we don't anticipate, we do have the opportunity to cancel in advance if we need to with notification. We're really excited about the 5-year agreement because no matter what happens to inflation, no matter what happens in the world beyond East Point, the maximum increase in cost every year is no more than 3.5%, which is really a great rate. And I'll tell you, that's 100% built into the driver pay. So like driver pay will be going up by 3.5% every year. So the increase we're really paying is just going to be get our drivers more money, which is actually, we think, a good thing at the end of the day. Transportation is fascinating because you pay by the number of buses and for how long they are. If you looked at that price sheet, the price sheet has 8 different time periods, and then one set of prices for special ed bus and one set of prices for general ed bus because one takes more trained people, et cetera. So I can't tell you exactly how much it's going to cost. We'll be monitoring as we go through it, but you pay per route, for lack of a better term. It's a pay-as-you-go sort of situation. That's what I have to share with the Board of Education. I think the next slide just says questions. I do want to point out that we do have Bill Rockwell from First Student here, okay? I've been partnering with a gentleman named Peter from First Student. He and I have been talking almost as much as CJ and I were talking from Community Housing Network. But Peter's based in Cincinnati and he couldn't get up here today. He had a family commitment. So they did send Bill along. Bill here to just represent this.
Yes.
And Ian McCain.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited. Appreciate it, everybody.
Thank you. With a vote of 6-0, motion carries. Next, we have recommendation for approval for TSL grant preparation.
Yes, please, thank you. Good evening, Board of Education, and for those of you still in the audience and watching online. About a week and a half ago, East Point Community Schools was contacted by a nonprofit called LEAP. LEAP has been a successful partner with River Rouge Schools in applying for federal funds through the Teacher and School Leader Grant. Originally, East Point Community Schools applied for this TSL grant in 2017. We were not a big enough institution overseeing those funds at the time, but it had been a grant opportunity that had been on our radar. We had been watching to see if the federal government would release this grant again, and about approximately 30 days ago, the federal government released the regulations for the TSL grant. The TSL grant fits where we are as an organization perfectly. It creates an opportunity for us to build performance-based compensation systems for school teachers who have increases in data and for school leaders who have increases in school data. It will also allow us a funding stream to continue our Grow Your Own program. As you know, we were one of the second districts in the state outside of Detroit to start building a teacher residency program to get more diverse candidates serving our students in our community, to get paraprofessionals and secretaries and folks who are working in our schools certified to become teachers. As you know, the Grow Your Own funds will be winding down this year. October 30th is our last expenditure date, and we've identified about 15 to 20 candidates we would like to continue funding for school. This TSL grant will give us that option. There are a number of competitive priorities. One, we have to serve an at-risk population. We meet that criteria. 2, we have to have 70% of our staff impacted by the grant, willing to participate in the grant. And I'm happy to say that by 11 o'clock this morning, we had 82% commit. So our teachers we have met with our union leaders as well about this, and we've identified that this is work that we already want to do to improve those student growth percentages attached to evaluation. But this TSL grant gives us the possibility to give bonuses for outcomes up to about $8,000 for teachers and up to about $12,000 for principals that meet the criteria that we decide. This is a game changer. It is a 3-year grant with the opportunity to extend additional 2 years. So we're very excited, and the grant writers are actually waiting for me to finish the documents pending your approval of our application for this great opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, and we did receive this in our board packet, so there is information. Do you have, Chuck, do you have a question?
No.
Oh,
great.
Do you have
I
questions?
don't have a question, but I think that's a good.
Turn your.
Yeah, we can.
I don't think I have a question, but I do think that's a great opportunity because the people who want to get into the
With motion and support, can you please call the vote?
Jumping on.
Yeah.
Ms. Chapa,
Yes.
Ms. Richardson,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Dr. Early,
Yes.
Early would be yes. Ian McCain,
Yes.
With a vote of 6-0, motion is carried. Next, we have our Board of Education, a recommendation for approval of the Board of Education Administrative Guidelines for the AI. We had this before come to us already, and so there was some choices that we had to make.
Yeah, so we've reached out to Clark Hill Legal Counsel, and trustee Ian McCain did quite a significant amount of research in the fall regarding the AI policy. And what our team, we have decided to run a task force as the board recommended, and we will be looking at AI over the next 6 to 9 months. What we're asking today is to adopt a policy so that we can also put it into the board policy and our admin guidelines. I like to call it like we're putting down the bumpers on the bowling alley to at least continue the forward trajectory. There are plenty of things that we have already identified we might like to change in the policy, but what we're asking for today is to let's get some guardrails in place. We will have the task force charged by the board studying for the next 6 to 9 months. They're going to come back to us and make some recommendations about some future steps that we would need to take. But what we're asking for is to adopt a policy. It's not going to be perfect, and there's going to be parts that probably have changed between when I started speaking and when I'm ending speaking, because that's the rapid world that we're living in. So this at least puts the guardrails in, and we can get started learning more about AI and its implications on education.
Well, we already know that the state have said we have to have policies, and so being proactive is what we need to do. And not that we're gonna make this perfect, but we gotta have a beginning. And so this will give us that beginning.
And the task force consists of who?
Right now, so Stephanie Fleming and John Dean are going to be the executives that will oversee it, but we've delegated to Danny Latham, our technology and safety coordinator, and our district librarian, Cynthia Sandoval. They're going to be co-leading it, and they just sent a plan to John and Steph about how they want to build out the committee to make sure that there's representation, how important it is to them to include all buildings and all levels in the thinking, and they are just starting to come forward. They know they already have a deadline to come back to the board and give a presentation in the spring of next year, which would then give us enough time to implement any next steps that the task force recommends. Cynthia and Danny have also been starting to go to professional learning to dig in and understand more about AI.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions on him?
I just wanted to mention, I already shared this with Superintendent Gibson, but one thing that I want to stress to the task force that I think is really important and that came up not just in the research that I did, but has come up in other learnings that I've done around AI as it relates to education and other fields, is the concept of human in the loop. And that's just very much that I make the motion to recommend for approval the board policy and administrative guidelines on artificial intelligence, or AI.
Okay.
Support.
With motion support, please call the roll.
Mr. McCain?
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe?
Yes.
Dr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Richardson?
Yes.
Darlene Whitby, yes. And Shelley Chopper?
Yes. With a vote of 6-0, motion is carried. This is by no means a way for us to approve AI in the school district. It's a guardrail for us to have a place to start, and that's what we needed, a place to start. Okay, next we have our second hearing of the public. We have anybody who wishes to be heard is open at 8:15. Is there anybody who wishes to be heard? Yes, please, you come straight to the podium. You have 3 minutes.
State your name.
State your name first, please.
Naomi Sennett.
Say it again.
Naomi Sennett.
I was talking to Mike.
Naomi Sennett.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Naomi Sennett, and I'm the music teacher at East Point Middle School. I'm here tonight to respectfully speak regarding the recommendation not to renew my contract. My concern is not only the outcome itself, but whether the process used to reach this recommendation reflects a complete and fair evaluation of my work. The evaluation record in this case appears to reflect a limited and inconsistent instructional timeline. My first observation as a mid-year hire reflected developing performance, which is expected during an onboarding period. A second observation was documented during a time when I was on medical leave and not actively instructing students. My third evaluation was conducted shortly after my return from extended leave, about a week after, and it occurred mid-semester. This timing meant I was acclimating to a newly formed group of students as my leave had commenced near the end of the first semester, leaving little opportunity to establish foundational classroom routines or rapport. Following that evaluation, there were no additional formal observations or documented opportunities to demonstrate growth over time in response to feedback. As educators, we understand that effective evaluation relies on a continuous cycle of observation, feedback, and implementation under stable conditions. In this case, I am concerned that the available data does not represent a full instructional cycle or a sustained period of typical teaching conditions. Additionally, I was notified of this recommendation through email rather than a formal meeting. While I understand the need to meet timelines, this limited my ability at that moment to ask questions, seek clarification, or engage in a full dialogue regarding the concerns being raised. In addition, I have replied to that email and have not received a response, and this reply was sent about a week ago. I also want to note that during my medical leave, my classroom was moved and I no longer have access to many of my instructional materials and student work samples. As a result, my ability to fully present evidence of student growth and classroom progress has been limited. I want to be clear that I take evaluation and professional growth seriously. I'm committed to improving my practice and to meeting the expectations of this district. My concern is simply whether the current record reflects a complete opportunity to demonstrate that growth. What I'm asking for tonight is consideration of whether this recommendation is based on a full and representative evaluation process and whether an opportunity exists for that process to be completed in a fair and consistent manner. Thank you for your time and consideration.
And the public closes at 8:19. Next, we have trustee announcements. Mr. McCain.
I think we have a lot that we've already celebrated tonight, so I'm not going to go through and say it individually, but there's been, I think, both at public meetings and then also social media, and this isn't, calling out any one person or anything, just a lot of just negativity and he said, she said, and just different things that have been coming up. And I've been struggling to find kind of a way to address it or, process it fully, but I've been doing a lot of reading lately around the importance of the lack of pride in civic institutions and the fact that that really stagnates any sort of progress that they can make. So I think we as a district have been doing a better job, but also we as a city can do a better job of lifting each other up and celebrating our wins and supporting each other when we stumble or when we struggle. So back in the 70s, there was a woman who came up in the city of Detroit with the phrase, say nice things about Detroit. So the superintelligence is the real problem. Throughout this book, I've described how even the most accomplished AI systems are brittle. That is, they make errors when their input varies too much from the examples on which they've been trained. It's often hard to predict in what circumstances an AI system's brittleness will come to light in transcribing speech, translating between languages, describing the content of photos, driving in a crowded city. If robust performance is critical, then humans are still needed in the loop. I think the most worrisome aspect of AI systems in the short term is that we will give them too much autonomy without being fully aware of their limitations and vulnerabilities. We tend to anthropomorphize AI systems, that's a fun word. We input human qualities in them and end up overestimating the extent to which these systems can actually be fully trusted. And that's from Melanie Mitchell's book, Artificial Intelligence, A Guide for Thinking Humans. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say how excited I am about all of the things we discussed, selling the property, the new school bus system, the whole 9 yards, and how proud I am to be on this board with this president.
A lot of crying going up there. There's no crying in boardrooms. I don't have a lot to say because there's a lot we've done today. Congratulations to Principals Harris and Knott and our retirees, and congratulations to just the outstanding job that this board is doing. And congratulations to my, still don't like you.
Don't cry.
To my president. Great job.
Thank you.
My president. And to all the children, it's summertime. Be careful out there. You don't hit the cars will hit you. So be careful. That old adage, look both ways before you cross the street. The ice cream truck will wait on you. And to the community, just thank you guys, moms and dads and uncles and families that stand behind us as you send us to these different classes and different conferences and things. We appreciate you, but we need you like you need us, because we're all in it together. Our teachers, our administrations, from the janitor to the principal, to the superintendent. We're all in this together, so let's come together for the next ensuing year, but I have a
Lifted all of us up and showed us what it takes to be an excellent board member. I really appreciate you. And I ain't crying. And my quote of the evening is, people tell you the world looks a certain way. Parents tell you how to think. Schools tell you how to think. And then at a certain point, if you're lucky, you realize you can make up your mind yourself. Nobody sets the rules but you. You can design your own life. Carrie Ann Moss.
And thank you. First of all, I would like to, I was so glad to hear from the middle school presentation. I am a 6 through 12 educator, so I'm so glad to hear from them, seeing that they have put in so much into it and for our young people. And one of the things that really struck me was that not just for the middle, but when they said that they allow their kids to go to the elementary schools and then go to the high schools, you're taking them and showing them their future. You're putting a spark in them so they can see that I'll be doing that next, so it's coming. And that's where we need to instill on them so that they will look forward to. So I was so glad to hear that from them. Ms. Patella, ever since you allowed us a couple of years ago to come in and be able to view in the superintendent the materials, I have that unique because it's so important for us to know what we are teaching our children, what they're putting in it, so that we can see these charts and the things that they're grabbing onto and helping them to go further. The retirees, I welcome them to my life, but then you don't stay there. You don't stay there, because the moment that I was retired, the same day I was hired to teach in alternative school. So they say they're gone, but they're not gone. They're just resting a little bit.
Just a break.
I'm so glad of that as well, especially Mrs. Elisa, that Menino, because I was one of those parents that I rather, instead of calling me, just come get me, because I'm already there. And that's how I got into education. For the parents, thank you so much for listening to us. Those of you that chime in, and we were encouraging you to get the kids to school and listen to them every day, find out what they need and what we can do. I thank you for listening to us, and pray that you continue to work good and hard with them over the summer. Don't let them get slack. put some paper in front of them every now and then and check on the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s and things of that nature so that they can stay in the rim. Thank you so much. Children, be safe. Be safe. If it don't feel good, don't do it. Just stay safe. And we pray that we see, and my president, I thank you. I thank you for the last 2 years of me being on this board, that you made me a part of something. And we all work together.
Bottom of my heart, I really want to continue to see people to come to the meetings, just not for special occasions, but I want you to come and voice your opinions. No, we can't talk to you while we're sitting up here, but you come and express to us and let us know, because we hear so much from the naysayers in the community. Oh, that school district is horrible, but you just seen how we're improving and the teachers are doing their jobs and the people from the rooter to the tutor is doing what they're supposed to be doing. We appreciate you. If no one else tells you, we appreciate you. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to shut up.
Oh, Lord.
We are an entity of ourselves. The school is an entity of ourselves. So going to a city council meeting, telling them what y'all doing and what y'all saying, it don't mean nothing. Come to this school board meeting and tell us what y'all want to see change. Because telling the planning commission means zero. Telling who the other commissions? And them. Arts and culture and any other commission means zero. Come to the school board meetings so then you can find out the truth and not just hear it secondhand from somebody else because my friends, cousins, nephew told you that they ain't doing no good. Okay. Come to the school board meetings. Talk to the school board members. How about donate your time in the school? Put some money in the school. Put your time and your body in the school. Put some good opinions in the schools. Talk to some students and not just take the opinion of people who ain't never been in the school. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Put some time in the district so you can understand the district, understand what's going on and what's really happening. We got great administrators. We got great teachers. We have great janitors. We have great secretaries. We got the best secretary this side of Macomb County, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, like, we have great people here, down to our media people. We have great staff in East Point Community Schools, but you gotta give East Point Community Schools a chance. Stop sitting out there saying what they're doing when you really don't know what's going on up in here. Please have a safe summer, and if you're in summer school, come back. Like, you know, I only have a few more months in this position, and I'm gonna miss you all, but I really want you to understand, come be a part of us and see what we're doing before you put an opinion out there that you know nothing about.
Well, tell us how you really feel.
I'm just off that soapbox. Thank you so much for y'all to come in and see my President's Award. We appreciate you. Meeting adjourned 8:32.